and the way the economy is, and Connecticut's one of the most expensive places to live. So affordable housing is very important to a lot of people, especially for myself, since family's right here, and I like to be closer to the family.
Building broader, deeper, smarter in Fairfield County means working with other groups that are really coming up with broad-based economic development and development strategies for the region. And in particular, I think some of the work that's been going on with Reinventing Stamford and with this regional consortium of communities to look at smart growth strategies, particularly along the rail corridors, where we're going to both focus on housing preservation in areas around transportation nodes, as well as identifying sites that can be assembled for doing new construction housing all the way from market rate all the way down to affordable and supportive housing.
Affordable by definition in an area that's as expensive as this to live in is still pretty tough for people to afford. I thought people used to work for me. I was president of a local community bank, and anybody I hired could not afford to live in this area. Bought a home in New Canaan, Connecticut in 1969 with my wife. Raised our kids here, but we went through a divorce before the kids had finished high school. I moved to Norwalk, where I've lived for almost 20 years now. My previous apartment, which was part of a historical district in Norwalk, went up in flames one Saturday morning and destroyed 72 years worth of history. And I was looking for a place to live, and somebody fortunately told me about this particular complex. I came over here, and I've been living here for 2 months now.
I arrived here, I was living in the St. Luke's Lifework Shelter. I was looking for an apartment, and I applied for the application maybe a year and a half ago. And I was so happy to call Friendship Apartment, and my name was up. I have 2 girls. One is 4, she's gonna be 5 in 2 months. So it was good to see that she has her own room, her own bed, and get to decorate it, so she loves it. Just having something that's yours and stability for the kids, and I really think that's very important. So I'm very grateful.
I'm currently on reserve status for the military. I'm usually on active duty status. I got tired of coming home and then having to pay everything off and go close to broke. I know that my family will be in a safe neighborhood and safe building while I'm away on my next tour.
My name is Paula Lynn Mary Fugner. I moved because my other apartment was too small and people that weren't treating me right, and it just wasn't for me. One thing about my bathroom is I like it because I get in and out of the tub easier because there's bars there. And when I take a shower, if I lose my balance, I can hang onto a bar.
I was living in Puerto Rico, and I came to New York to take care of my parents my father had Alzheimer's, and my mother developed dementia. So I moved in with them. And about 2 years ago, my mother passed. I couldn't afford where I was living. I was working in a hotel, and then I got sick. I had cancer in the kidney, got a heart attack. It just everything came down. So I had to stop working. I started applying in all kinds of places, and I applied for Friendship House, but I had forgotten about it because I was applying everywhere. And I got the call, and I was like, oh my God, because I had to leave the apartment where I was. Hopefully I won't be on disability for too long, and I can go back to work.
I'm coming for Cuban. The Kennedy organization is looking for my house and putting me in good shape. I received help in 3 months. After 3 months, I find a job. After my daughter graduation, the Fairfield University, he moved from Stanford, and I moved the Waterbury for this building. I love it. I told you before, I think it's Dana Trumbo building.
Yes, I worked for the Stanford Board of Education for 25 years, and I owned a condo, and from my condo I came here. Well, I used to have a lot of activities, but now I just take care of my great-granddaughter. Both of her parents work, so I'm kind of, stepped in and took over.
I was born in Stamford, Connecticut a few years back, quite a few years to be honest with you, and I lived here most of my life. I was on the Board of Representatives, I was a member of the Sewer Commission, I was on the Zoning Board of Appeals. I went back to the restaurant business, which was in the family, and I worked with my two brothers. I remained in that business until I retired or I became sick. After that, I ended up here because in the meantime, I had gotten divorced. I enjoy cooking, so I volunteer to cook a lunch here once a week, and I'm happy to do it. They get together, it gets people together, they get to know each other a little. But my kids want me to learn the computer. You know what I mean?
We have a new housing development director who just came on board, who is going to be really looking and working on the future, where we would like to develop additional housing in Norwalk, Danbury, and in Stamford. We have been working in Stamford closely with the West Side NRZ and the Housing Authority on coming up with some housing strategies there for both mixed income, market rate, and affordable housing, as well as some other sites where we could really start promoting home ownership, what some people might call a resident services program, but we prefer to give it a different name because we're going beyond just resident services to really trying to empower our residents to be far more actively involved in the community, as well as to move up the economic ladder and working with organizations like CTE and other social service providers in the city on various kinds of things that would really enable the tenants to get the education and the other resources that they really need to move up the economic ladder.
The affordable housing has made a big difference in my life.